Hello, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be continuing on with our Illustrator Daily Creative Challenges. My name is Andrew Hawkrattle, and I will be your host and guide for the next week. We have 5 full days to be hanging out together. I'm very excited. Hello everyone in chat. Hello, I see we have Tim in there. We've got an Elise. Shauna's here. Hello everyone. So excited to see you, and I'm so glad that we are getting to hang out today. Now, I'm in a little bit of a different studio today, so you may see me looking around and trying to look at things as we go. The setup's a little bit different, so bear with me in just a second. All right. So I am very, very excited to be hanging out with all of you. And today we are talking about the pen tool. Now, if you have not been a part of our challenges, we have been building an awesome community and learning all about Adobe InDesign. Now, there are a couple things that you can do to get involved. The very first is we can hop over here and you can join on our daily creative challenges. That's actually what we're doing right now. So you can go to behance.net/challenge/Illustrator, and that will get you to this page, which is our daily creative challenge. Here you can join and chat with our community, but you can also find the daily creative challenges. You can get your setups, you can get your starter files, and all of the video recaps that you need if you want to come back. And yes, Shauna, I tried to match the hat with the shirt. The hat is our friend from Chomp, Josh Arisa, and the shirt is 2 cents, which is a bunch of my close friends. So you can register for all the daily challenges here, and for future challenges, you can get daily updates, and it will be very, very easy for you to do that. Now, there's another thing that you can do to get involved, and that is join our Discord. In our Discord, you can get to by going to this link here, bit.ly/AI Discord. And in the Discord, it's a great place for you to get feedback, to talk about your projects, to show off what you're working on. And the community there is thriving and growing. So I want you to join us in our Discord. Hello, friends. Daniel, Cole, Patrick, Annalise. Hello, friends. It's great to see you. A lot of familiar names over from the Discord over into our stream today, which is super fun. I love seeing the faces and familiar faces in there. So let's hop in real quick and talk a little bit about what we are doing today. Today, we are going to be going over the pen tool. Now, this is something that can be very, very overwhelming at times, but today we're just covering the basics. Don't freak out. It's going to be very fun and very easy. We don't have any donuts. If you watched last week, the theme was all about donuts, and we talked a lot about design principles, about icons, indexes, and symbols. This week, we're getting a little more hands-on, and we're going to be working very closely in the programs to show you a little bit of the how to what we talked about last week, which was the what. So, you all ready to hop into Illustrator? I'm so excited. If you have not gotten your starter file yet, head on over to that page, behance.net/challenge/Illustrator, and you can get your starter file. We're going to be working out of that, and I'm going to hop over into that starter file right now. So let's go ahead and hop into Illustrator over here. So if you're just joining us, a little quick overview of Illustrator. Illustrator is very good for building logos, for creating type, anything that needs to scale infinitely. Illustrator is not pixel-based, it is vector-based, which means that this image here is pixel-based. So when I blow it up, you can see that it gets these weird little jagged pieces. Those are called pixels. Now in Illustrator, if I'm making that same little shape right there, you can see that I can continue to scale it and these edges stay nice and clean. So that's the difference between Illustrator and maybe Photoshop or some other programs you would use. Illustrator is very powerful for vector objects. So let's hop in here and read our brief for today. Let's first read our little affirmation. I try to put one of these on every single daily challenge for y'all. So y'all, those are some really great letters. Like, as you're working, just remember, You're doing great stuff. You're making great letters. All right, so you can follow me on social media, hawk.co on Instagram or Behance. A lot of you have been dropping in there, and I'm going to be posting some more work this week, and I'd love your feedback. I'd love any thoughts that you have on it. Just like I give you feedback, I would love to hear your feedback as well. So let's talk a little bit about our challenge today. Today we will be writing our name with the pen tool. We're going to be using simple lines and simple curves, don't get scared about the pen tool, to build your name. I'll be building my name, you can build your name, and what we're going to do is we're going to place those anchor points and curves to create a stroked version of our name. Now the pen tool, you'll see a lot of people doing calligraphy, these fancy things with all these points and all these Bezier curves. We are not doing that today. Don't freak out. We will maybe eventually get there in a future challenge. Today we're going to lay the foundation by using a stroke to create the letters because it becomes a little less complex. So keep in mind that the round letters need to go a little bit higher and a little bit lower than the others. So those are called overshoots. And we'll work with those when we get there. So instead of hopping right into Illustrator and jumping into the pen tool, I want to show you a little bit about how it works. So let's transition over. Let me move some things around here real quick. Hello. Yes, all the cool people are in Discord. Valder, that is the most true statement I have ever seen. So let's hop over to camera 2. Camera 2. So this is our desk. What's on desk this week? We've got a little Creative South stuff, some Doc Reed, and a bunch of little knickknacks from some friends. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this shoelace here to demonstrate how the pen tool works and how a line works in Illustrator instead of just hopping into Illustrator. So it's very easy. Let's imagine that we have a line here, right? And so on this line, we have a starting point and an ending point. So let's say this is our starting point. This is our starting point over here. And then this is our ending point over here, right? So we have these two little spots. So let's say there's one here. There we go. And so we have the start and the end of a line. Now, when we want to make this a curve, right? Maybe we want to make this a curve that looks like this. So we want to make a curve, but really all we have is a straight line. Now, when thinking about using the pen tool, you want to think about anchor points. And anchor points are points on the line that help to adjust that line. Really, everything we work with in Illustrator is actually a line. It's just adapted and warped. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's say we want to make this curved. What we want to think about in Illustrator, I can't grab the pen, is we want to look at the highest point of where this curve is going to go, right? We have this straight line here, but we want to turn this straight line into a curved line, and the highest we want it to go is right here. So we're going to go ahead and make a little dot here, and that's going to be our anchor point, right? So this anchor point, imagine that we have this line, and we've put an anchor point right here, but we need to move that anchor point from this spot on the line. Let's use our black marker. We need to move it from that spot on the line all the way up to where it's going to meet this spot up top, right? So let's go ahead and pin this up here. There we go. And now we have another anchor point, right? So this, in theory, is another anchor point. But the problem is, this is a very harsh line, right? Instead of going at an angle like this, we want it to be smooth. So think about this, and you'll see it a little bit better when we get into Illustrator and start working with the points. But with this point, we can actually grab two little handles and start to move them out. And let's imagine, right, we're moving these out to about there. And what's happening is it's basically taking these two handles and starting to push out to say, hey, we want it to go to this point, but we want it to go at this curve. So you can see that it's starting to create that curve for us by taking this point that we've made in a single line and pushing it and telling it to mathematically make a bridge between this point, and this point by having this much space in the transition, right? So that's a little hands-on. Let's hop back into Illustrator and we can look a little bit better at what that means. All right, let me grab my keyboard back up here real quick. There we go. All right, we are back on track. So, working in our Illustrator starter file, we have this great little grid that we'll use to create letters, but I don't want to get there quite yet. Let's look at what we just talked about. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the pen tool. You can grab it here or you can hit P. And we are going to click just once. We did it. We've conquered the pen tool. Good job. Just kidding. So we've made our point here, and we're going to go ahead and as you drag around, you can see that it's making a line, right? It's desperately searching for the other half of this line. It's saying, where do we end? Where do we end? We have a start. We need the ending. Well, you can hold Shift and it will make a straight line and click. Whew. Now we have the beginning and the end of a line. And we're going to keep it here. Go ahead and hit Enter, and that will close off this line for us. So now you can see we have a point here and a point here. Now, just like we did in our drawing, we want to find the center, which if we hover over, it will say intersect. And when we click, it will make another point here in the middle. Hello, Carissa. Hello, Michelle. Now, we're going to take this point by using the direct selection tool up here, which is A, or the white little arrow, and just click on this. Now we can click and drag, and you can see that it's taking this, and between our beginning and end point, we have now morphed this line by creating another pinpoint, or just like we did on paper, another piece of tape to hold down this line. So we're going to bring it up, and again, holding Shift is going to give us that perfect up and down. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and make this a stroke. So clicking here on the little swap and fill stroke. And I'm going to grab my stroke panel, going to Window, and then Stroke, or just grabbing it out of your toolbar over here. And we're going to make this stroke fairly thick. There we go. And now, again, using the direct selection tool, by selecting this anchor point, you can see that if we grab our pen tool again, by clicking over there or hitting P, and we hover over, if we click, oh no, our anchor point's gone. Now you can see when it has this little minus, that means, I pointed at the screen, you guys can't see that. When it has a little minus, that means it's going to take away that point. But if we hold Alt, or I believe on Mac, Option, or maybe the Apple key. I'm sorry, I'm flipping back and forth between PC and Mac. So holding down Alt or the Apple key, you can go ahead and click on this, and we are going to drag. And as you drag, you can see it's starting to pull out those handles, right? Just like my pinkies pulled out that curve, it's doing the exact same thing, where it's pulling this out and it's saying, hey, here's where we start, here's the middle, and here's where we stop. And by that, we are starting to create a curved line. There we go. Now we've created a curved line. Super easy. So when you're making those lines, again, you can start in one place, and it's basically telling us, here's where we start, and we're heading this way. We can click and drag. We're heading up. And then over here, we're going to stop here on our way heading down. And now we've made a perfect little curve using the pen tool. So it's about, we're starting here, and as you click and drag, we're going this way. And then we're stopping here, but heading the next way. So let's go ahead and hop into our starter file. We're going to make our name. My name is Andrew. You can just call me Hawk, H-O-C-H, or Hawk.co on social. And we are going to make a very quick and easy way to make our name. So we're going to grab our pen tool again. Thank you. I hope that it helped understand the pen tool. I was trying to think through how to explain it, Valder and Valentine. I hope that made sense. It was the best that my mind could come up with to get it out of the computer into the real world. So let's go ahead and hop in here. We're grabbing the pen tool, and here are our lines. This is what we're going to be building our name on. So my name is just Andrew. So we're going to start here, right? We're going to be making an A. So we start here, and you can see that it's starting to have the path, right? It's showing us where we're going. We're starting here. Now we're ending up top. Now we don't want to end up top. We want to keep going. So we'll click on another path, and now it has made a line that has that path in the middle that says it's up here. We're going to hit enter, and that will basically commit the path. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm choking. Sorry, I need to... Okay. Wow, that can look absolutely insane. It's just green water. All right, so our crossbar right here is where we're going to continue. And we are going to click And again, holding Shift, click across those two, and now we've made a crossbar for our A. Now there's some weird things happening, but we are going to fix that up when we come back to it. So continuing, again, we're just thinking about these in simple lines. We're clicking and starting. We're holding Shift, going to our next stop. Then we're continuing by dragging, clicking another stop. And oh my goodness, now we have 4 points. Whoa, we did 3, we did 2. Now we've done 4. That's a lot of points. Hopefully you're all tracking with me. So we made the N. There we go. We've got some weird things happening, but we'll come back and address those. Now next is going to be a little bit of a difficult letter. We're going to get on a curve. So we're going to do the D for Andrew, and we are going to click, starting at the bottom. Again, holding Shift, we are making a perfectly straight line. And with this, I like to have a little bit of space. So let's have a little bit of a flat space here. But with the D, we're having that flat space, and then we're continuing on a curve. So we're going to click and hold down that click, and we are going to drag to the right. So as we drag, it's telling us, oops, I dragged that a little bit too far. There we go. It's telling us that this point is heading this way and continuing that way. And then we're going to come down here to the bottom. And again, we are going to click and drag. There we go. That's not a very good D. I didn't do that very well. Another way to do that, let's try that one more time. There we go. We're going to make a little bit of extra space and have that going that way. There we go. This is going to look a little bit better. We're trying to follow the guidelines that we have. There we go. That's feeling a little bit better. Not a ton, but you also can create paths finding the top and the bottom of where that shape needs to go, and the left and the right. So creating another D, we can actually find that the most right point, the furthest right, we can make a point there and click and drag. And you'll see that now, because that's the furthest point, we can actually do it with one anchor point and make a very smooth curve around that edge. So let's go ahead and keep that one. And keep going with our letters. Next, we're up to the R. Fairly easy. Again, we're doing that vertical. And as we start to come this way, I'm actually going to make the R, again, using the rightmost point, make a point there. And again, we are clicking and dragging. We're going to close this off right under there. And if you want to kind of play around with this letter, maybe the terminal of this R is not looking what we want it to. Actually, let's give it a leg real quick. And again, we're hitting P to grab the pen tool. There we go, nice little sassy leg. Hello. Let's go ahead and we can select this point by using the direct selection tool. We'll click just on this point, and you can see now we have our handles. Now we can either grab this and start moving it all over the place, and it's going to move the angle. Again, it's saying here's where we're starting, here's where we're going, and here's where we're ending. So it's recalibrating that mathematically. Now if we hold Shift, again, it's going to do that perfectly, but it will keep that top one where it is because it's just moving the bottom shape on that axis. I'm actually going to put this in a different color stroke so you guys can see a little bit better. There you go. Hopefully you can see the blue line a little better. So we're going to select this point again. Now, if we want to, we can change this whole stroke by grabbing the pen tool and holding Alt or I believe the Apple key, and we are going to scale up and down. So that's changing both of them to completely change the curve. We're holding Shift and we're holding Alt, and it is taking that and saying that we want to stretch those 2 points that we're using to move across. We are stretching both of those together to mess with this curve on the R. We also can grab, if we have something like this, we can grab this point and pull it in and mess with it that way as well. So let's keep going here, and then we're going to go back in just a few minutes, and we are going to fix it up. So again, we're just clicking, holding Shift, keeping everything very symmetrical and very tight. And we'll do the crossbar of the E. And now if you're on a path and you keep going and you just want to stop, you can hit Enter, and that will commit it, and then you can start doing a new path. You can make things very geometric, or you can work with curves. But let's go ahead and create the W so we can finish out my name. Boop, boop, boop. All right, those are the sound effects that I've created for Adobe Illustrator. Now, there are some weird things happening here. With the A is not necessarily symmetrical. The W is not symmetrical, really. And then we've got some weird stuff happening with some of the letters. So what's interesting is because we've used the pen tool, these are all now very easy to mirror to create the same angles. Now, if we want to, we can grab our direct selection tool again by hitting A, click down here and delete that point. So now we have a start point and an end point. And what we can do with this path is actually right click on it, go to transform and reflect. We're going to reflect that vertically and make sure we hit copy. And with copy, now we have made a perfect reflection of that. So we'll take these anchor points, the start and end points, and pull them together, right? So now we have this perfectly symmetrical A. We select both of these and we can go to Object, Path, and Join. And now you can see that we have a perfectly symmetrical A. And playing with some of the lines, now we've created my name. We can do the same thing with the W, but then after we're all done, we can select these, and when using the pen tool, if you don't like these jagged pieces that are kind of sticking up, being very aggressive, they're kind of a lot. Like me, super on brand. It's very easy. You can come over here, grab the points you just made with your pen tool, go to the stroke option, and if we want, we can make these letters super chunky, right? Make super thick letters by increasing that stroke. But if we don't want the harsh edge, what we can do is come over here and change the limit. This is the corner limit. This means how far the corners can go to point. So as we bring this down, you'll see that some of these corners, right, start to round off. And maybe we want the corners to not necessarily be as jointed. We want them to be round. We can change that right here in the corner menu to make round corners. Now, if we have round corners, we also want to match with round ends. So we can go right up here to the cap and click on a round cap. Right? So as you can see, we've kind of done it. We started to make some letters. We could refine these a little bit better, round off some of these caps as well. But what I want to see you do is go in with the pen tool. Now, you don't have to do big swashes. If you can, go for it. That's great. Continued curves can be a little bit difficult, and we wanted to set the bar so that you guys could easily achieve this and practice with the pen tool. Now, if you've nailed it by making simple letters using simple angles and parallel lines and a couple curves here and there, go back, try to do your name in cursive maybe. Show me a couple options and drop them in our Discord. Again, bit.ly/AI Discord. I want to see you all in there. I'll be hopping in for the probably 15 minutes or so after the stream, answering questions, following up. So hop in, let me know how you thought this challenge went. Let me know your thoughts about all of our challenges, really. And if you haven't caught up, again, you can catch up at behance.net/challenge/Illustrator. It's been super, super fun to hang out with you guys today. Hopefully you got some great tips in Illustrator and using the pen tool. Hello, yes, you've been hitting escape the whole time. That's great. Yes, you can hit enter. It'll be very easy. So thank you for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. And tomorrow we will be talking about color. We'll talk about using color as an index to help inform things. Just like you wouldn't get ice cream that was colored blue unless it's gumball, you wouldn't want to use the wrong color to inform the wrong message. So we'll be talking about color. We'll be looking at the gradient tool and looking at the freeform gradient tool, which can get really, really funky. And so come back tomorrow, 2 p.m. for that. Now, if you don't want to miss that challenge, again, go to behance.net/challenge/Illustrator, and you can actually set it up so that it will send a desktop notification to your Creative Cloud every day so you can join us for our challenges. Thanks so much, Mark, Patrick, and Elise. It's great to see you guys, and I hope to see you again tomorrow as we continue our daily creative challenges. 2 p.m. behance.net/live. I will see you all there. Bye!